So I'm making this video this morning because I was, first of all, I was doing a little research and I was like, I want to find a recipe for a really good meatloaf. But then I realized that the best meatloaf that I've ever had was my grandmother's meatloaf. So this morning, I am going to be making a meatloaf that my grandmother used to make. And we're going to start out with these ingredients. Of course, you're going to need onion. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm making these fresh ingredients. I have my red, green, and yellow peppers. And I want you to see that. Of course, we have garlic, a bulb of garlic, and I've sliced the fresh onions. And I'm going to be using a 80-20 ground beef for the meatloaf that has, some fat. So I just wanted to kind of come in here and let you know what the base of the ingredients is going to be, and that's going to be a good ground beef, onions, and peppers. Of course, we're going to include an egg. We're going to use a binder. I prefer the, let's see here, let me see if I can grab this. Of course, I do parsley. I'm gonna have my seasonings, but I'm also going to, let's see here, pull those seasonings out. And to get to the breadcrumbs that I use. So I'm gonna use the Italian breadcrumbs. We'll add that. Those are Italian breadcrumbs. And we're going to use an egg. So we're going to use the egg, onion, red, yellow, and green peppers, garlic, and I also include parsley flakes on it. And we're also going to make sure that we're using the Italian style breadcrumbs. Okay, so now you can see the ingredients that are going to be blended. So you have the tri-colored peppers, red, green, and yellow, the 80% ground beef, 80-20 ground beef, your chopped onions, and you have your binder, which is the Italian breadcrumbs. So you're going to blend that and add seasoning. So the seasonings that I use are going to be just a little salt and seasoned salt, paprika, and black pepper. So you want to season that. That is going to be your seasoning. Also, what you'll want to do is add just a tad of ketchup. So we've added just a tad of ketchup, a nice generous squeeze of ketchup. And the secret ingredient to a good meatloaf is milk, is whole milk. Because what it's going to do, it's going to soak into the breadcrumbs. And there you go. That's the secret ingredient to a good meatloaf is whole milk. So before I put the meatloaf in a 350-degree oven, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze a quarter of a cup of ketchup into a container, into a glass bowl, and then you're just going to add water, just enough to make it this consistency, just enough for almost a bath. Not too much, but when it's cooking, you do want to get that tomato ketchup into your loaf. So I cook it, before I put it in the oven, I'll show you. I pour this over the meatloaf, and then I let it cook in that. And then what it will do, so that it doesn't dry out, you just cover it. It's going to be covered. And then you're going to put it in your oven, and it's going to just cook this for about 30 minutes and 350 degrees, and then we're going to come back to it and top it with a glaze and let it cook another 30 minutes. So we're back, and we're going to make the glaze for our meatloaf once it comes out of the oven. And as you can see, you're taking about a quarter. I always suggest that when you're cooking food, you always do things to your liking, to your taste. But what we're going to do is, this was about a third of a cup of brown sugar, and then you take about a quarter of a cup of ketchup. You're going to mix. You're going to mix it until it becomes a really nice paste where all of the brown sugar is incorporated, because what you're going to do is you're going to top and continue to cook your meatloaf with this glazed top. And what will happen is all of that is going to caramelize. It's going to be an amazing top of the meatloaf with that savory onion and pepper mix in it. It's going to really give your meatloaf a sweet caramel tomato glaze. So yes, that's that 30-minute timer that has gone off for the meatloaf, so it is actually time to top it, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, so here we are topping and spreading that glaze over top of our meatloaf, and as you can see, it's very rich. So that's after the 30 minutes, and we'll come back after the next 30. This is right out of the oven, and what I try to do right out of the oven is to sprinkle it with parsley. So I sprinkle with fresh parsley, and I'm going to slice it, and I'll come back and show you the finished result. So this is the final product, so I'll just show it to you here. That's your final product for your meatloaf. There you go. And you hear in the background salmon sizzling. So I'm searing my salmon, so my apologies. But yes, that is the final product for your amazing Grandma Liza's amazing, phenomenal, never fail meatloaf. We'll show you that. Yeah, still juicy with the sweet top and plenty of flavor. So that is what you will end up with, and that's all I wanted to share with you all this morning. So yes,